tell us to do something good for our country and get back to work. That's a good one. That's even funnier. From being the star of reality TV shows for over 10 years to the dark secrets hiding behind the pawn shop counter being revealed, this is the untold story of Pawn Stars and Rick Harrison's confession. The family-run business was built on knowledge of the history of gold and silver, but it has recently been hit with a string of damaging accusations. With all that's been going on, scandals, lawsuits, and family betrayals could end, if not permanently taint, their legacy. Rick Harrison's empire has been pushed to the edge and might end up falling. What started as a humble pawn shop had led its owners to fame, greed, and legal chaos. But where does their story begin? It all started with Richard Oldman Harrison, a 77-year-old patriotic veteran who co-founded the pawn shop in Las Vegas. His experience in the business, his no-nonsense attitude made him a fan favorite and, of course, the one who made the decisions. However, his death in 2018 was a turning point for the family, both personally and professionally. Rick Harrison, who created the hit TV show The Shop, knew from the start that pawning was about more than just making quick sales. It had to have a story. Everyone loves a story. For example, if you buy an expensive antique that sells at Christie's for $1 million, you're buying the story behind it. With just a basic understanding of gold and silver, he opened the gold and silver pawn shop from scratch, even though it was hard to make a profit at first. He kept going, learned more, and became a respected name in the pawn industry. But it wasn't until 2009 that Pawn Stars debuted on the History Channel that things really changed. The show followed Rick, his father, his son Corey Bigos Harrison, and Corey's friend Austin Chumley Russell as they dealt with people. Customers brought in strange and sometimes valuable items, like rare comic books and artifacts thought to be from ancient Egypt. Because of this, no day was ever the same at the pawn shop, which was good because it kept things interesting and unpredictable. Fans also loved the banter between Rick and his father, and Chumley's silly, innocent personality. But as the show became more popular, bad things were happening behind the scenes, including Rick Harrison's bad behavior. USA Today reports that Rick Harrison's mother, Joanne Harrison, is suing him over family assets and who owns the gold and silver pawn shop. I had no idea because, like I said, I had epilepsy and there wasn't any research on it or anything like that back then. You thought you had limitations? Oh no, I thought I did. I thought it had a really short lifespan, but thanks for the tip. Joanne's lawyers filed the civil lawsuit in Rick Harrison, Harrison Properties, Joe Rick Properties, and others are named as defendants in a lawsuit filed in Nevada State Court. The complaint claims a breach of contract, stating that Joanne was married to Rick's father for 58 years, but when she was hospitalized in the early 2000s, just after waking up from a coma, Rick made her sign over her 51% interest in the pawn shop to him. When she realized what she had done or been made to do, she fought back and sought justice by saying she didn't sign anything. When Rickard died in 2018, Joanne was supposed to inherit his 49% share of the pawn shop, but Rick hadn't given her full records of the business's finances. Because of this, Joanne said she hadn't been able to get proper records for more than $500,000 worth of cash and silver, which she said Richard had gathered before he died. As a result of this legal battle, Rick's net worth was threatened, because the lawsuit asks for unspecified damages, an accounting of assets, a court order that says Rick can't use Joanne's money, and a constructive trust over property that belongs to her. In an interview with the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Rick denied the accusations and said that his 81-year-old mother was being manipulated by others for their own gain. However, that wasn't the only bomb that went off in the family business. According to the Daily Mail in 2020, the gold and silver pawn shop usually makes over $1 million a year. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic meant that they only made $3,746, which was a big loss for them. But the legal drama didn't end there. Rick's mother filed a restraining order against Pawn Stars Rick to stop him from selling off the family's assets. In her defense, Joanne said that Rick had stopped sending her money from Richard's share of the business. At first, Rick was giving her regular $225,000 payments, but he stopped in 2020. Depression. Being angry all the time is a big sign of depression. That's definitely you losing your hair. You might have been going through menopause for 10 years, which would be the longest known case of menopause. Because of this, Joanne filed for a restraining order to try to get that allowance back through the courts. The restraining order also said that Rick couldn't move or hide cash assets or do anything else that would make Joanne less interested in him. The newspaper also said that Joanne was 81 years old and had many health problems that needed 24-hour care and supervision, which could cost up to $115,000 a month. What surprised Rick was that he learned about the restraining order request from the newspaper and not directly from Joanne. After the incident, Rick said he had tried to call her many times for several months but couldn't. which made it harder for him to negotiate better terms so that everyone would be happy. They could go home happy, even though they wouldn't go back to the same house. This wasn't the only legal battle a family member or friend was facing. Austin Chumley Russell is definitely one of the shadiest Pawn Stars cast members. In 2012, TMZ reported that he was caught on camera fighting with a guy in Hollywood before running away. The victim was left hurt and bleeding on the side of the road, but Chum said he acted in self-defense after the guy threatened to throw a gun. According to Chumley, instinct took over and the man didn't even seem to know that Chumley was on TV. In an interview with TMZ, Chumley said that the stranger just wanted to ride in their car and cause trouble. He avoided a bullet with this one, but there was no getting around the scandal Chumley was about to get into 4 years later. According to the Chicago Tribune, Chumley was arrested on suspicion of 20 felonies and sent to jail in 2016. He learned something. Let me say you get more out of a book, Rick. You guys turn it into arguments, but you definitely like to argue a lot. I bet one of your 3 wives could agree with me. Chumley was arrested after police raided his home in southwest Las Vegas to look into sexual assault claims against him. During the raid, an officer allegedly found methamphetamine, marijuana, and at least 1 gun at Chumley's home. He wasn't booked on sex crime charges though. Officer Larry Hadfield, a spokesman for the department, said that part of the investigation was because of a recent complaint from a woman, and that the officers were doing everything they could to find the truth. However, TMZ reports that Chumley was the suspect in the sexual assault case. According to the AP, Russell faced 19 drug possession charges and 1 weapon charge. After some time, the sexual assault charges were eventually dropped, but the damage had already been done. According to TMZ, the police found a huge amount of drugs during the raid, including weed, meth, and Xanax. They also found traces of cocaine and 12 guns, 8 of which were not registered. Because he was compromised, Chumley ultimately entered a plea to avoid going to prison. He pleaded guilty to a felony weapons charge for illegally possessing a firearm and to a gross misdemeanor charge of attempted drug trafficking. Corey Harrison's wild night and personal problems weren't limited to him. Rick's son Corey Bigos Harrison also had his share of mishaps and hair loss. Dude, you might have had menopause for like 10 years. You might be the longest known case of menopause. Corey was known for wanting to take over the shop one day. Corey had a rough patch when reports came out of his wild behavior during a stop on a motorcycle tour in Jefferson City. Corey was involved in an embarrassing incident at a bar. Witnesses said that Corey shocked bar patrons by urinating in public and throwing a bar stool, which got him kicked out of the bar. This got him a lot of bad press. Even though Corey later said he was sorry for what he did and apologized to everyone, he tried to clear his name by being charming, but more trouble followed him. In 2021, Corey came back into the news for all the wrong reasons when he rented an RV for a short vacation in the California desert in 2020, but the RV's owner, William V. Harrison, said Harrison didn't return it on the agreed-upon date, and in one piece, Villana said Harrison's assistant called the next day to say they were in an accident and were going to have the RV towed back, but it took another 2 days before the completely wrecked vehicle finally arrived. V said the RV's awning was torn off and its interior was full of trash. According to TMZ, the damage to the vehicle could cost up to $30,000 to fix. VFA also said that he had to cancel 10 reservations because of the vehicle's state. He also said that Harrison refused to pay for the damage, which made him file a police report. Because of all the attention this was getting, Corey's representative tried to brush it off by saying that Corey had rented the RV, and the pop-outs wouldn't go away. The only thing he told TMZ was that Corey had the RV towed back to Las Vegas and had insurance take care of it with his own money. Corey was able to legally avoid the consequences of the accusations, but his public image was ruined, and his legal problems were the last thing on his mind. In his personal life, Corey had to deal with his weight, which had gotten to dangerous levels, leading him to have gastric bypass surgery in 2010. The surgery helped him lose over 100 pounds, but it put a lot of stress on his personal life. Corey dealt with the pressures of fame, running the pawn shop and living a healthy life. His friendship with Chumley stayed strong, and Chumley started losing weight after seeing Corey do it. At least he had some good times, but the scandal that shook the show's credibility meant that even though Rick Chumley and Corey were the stars of Pawn Stars, the show also relied on experts to give the rare items that came in as real. These specialists became fan favorites in their own right. Many people bought from these experts because they knew a lot about everything, from old coins to rare autographs. However, some of these experts caused problems, which made fans question their credibility. For example, Johnny Jimenez Jr., who was known for his knowledge of old toys, got into legal trouble in 2015 after TMZ caught him on camera, allegedly assaulting his girlfriend outside of a Las Vegas restaurant. This hurt his reputation, and Johnny defended himself. He tried to save face by saying he was just trying to help his drunk girlfriend move after a night of drinking and partying, but the damage to his reputation had already been done. Another expert whose claims led to criticism of the show was John Resnikoff. Resnikoff was an expert in autograph authentication. In 2011, he made a big mistake when he thought an autograph on a script from The Godfather belonged to actor Al Pacino, when it actually belonged to producer Al Ruddy. The mistake wasn't very big, but it made people wonder if the experts were really as smart as they seemed, and if they had made similar mistakes in the past that no one noticed. But this wasn't even close to the biggest Pawn Stars scandal in 2015, when Drew Max, a sports memorabilia expert, was charged with fraud in New Jersey for allegedly authenticating fake sports items that were then sold at auction. Buyers who were ripped off sued Max, saying Max used his TV fame to boost his reputation in the memorabilia world and then lied to them about the items. This scandal severely damaged the show's credibility, and fans started to wonder how many other items appraised on Pawn Stars had been misrepresented. Some fans thought that the world should forgive them, since everyone makes mistakes. Not many people defended Max though, since his mistake cost some people a lot of money. What was the result of all these problems? As the scandals grew, Pawn Stars started to change its focus. At first, the show was a mix of history and entertainment, with Rick and his team teaching viewers about the historical importance of the items brought into the shop. The show's charm lay in how unpredictable it was. One day a customer might bring in a rare piece of military history, and the next might bring in a quirky modern collectible. But as the show went on, it started to feel more scripted, and rumors spread that sellers on the show were chosen ahead of time and that items were appraised before they were shown. The show lost its natural, spontaneous quality over time. Arguments between the cast, which used to be real and often funny, started to feel fake as the focus shifted from the unique items brought into the shop to family drama. Fans noticed everything. The shift toward stage drama made the show feel less real. Fans who had originally tuned in to learn about history found themselves watching a reality TV show that felt more like Keeping Up with the Kardashians than a series about pawning. Even the characters started to feel like stereotypes. Rick was the strict deal-maker, Corey was the ambitious but often distracted son, and Chumley was the comedic relief whose legal problems made his on-screen persona seem more and more out of touch with reality. As if the family drama and scandals involving the experts weren't enough, Pawn Stars also had trouble growing its businesses. Rick tried to cash in on the show's popularity by opening Pawn Plaza, a store. Several businesses closed because of lack of customers in the shopping center near the pawn shop. The owners of these businesses later said that Rick hadn't done enough to market the area. They had hoped that Pawn Stars fame would bring in customers, but it never did. Many shop owners blamed Rick for not doing enough to promote the area, which led to several failed businesses and a string of lawsuits. But how could they really turn their viewers into business customers while these fights were going on in the present? One of the cast's pasts was about to come out. Olivia Black was fired over nude modeling. This was another scandal that rocked Pawn Stars. Olivia Black was an employee who started working there in 2012 and quickly became a fan favorite because of her unique style and edgy personality. However, she was fired without any explanation, and fans were furious and tried to find out what happened. It was later revealed that her firing was related to naked photos she had taken before joining Pawn Stars, and that the photos had been posted online. This decision caused a lot of controversy, with many fans criticizing the show's producers for what they saw as an unfair and sexist response. Despite being fired from the show, Olivia Black kept a large fan base and continued to work in the pawn industry off-screen, trying to make a name for herself as a model and adult entertainer. Olivia also went to court, saying that her firing was, Olivia was charged with breaking the law, but the case was eventually dropped, and she went on to focus on her modeling career. As the media's attention moved from Olivia's case to another scandal, the stolen coin collection melting mystery, it became clear that the Pawn Stars cast members have had run-ins with the law before. In 2014, they were involved in another legal battle, this time for allegedly melting down a stolen antique coin collection, according to ABC News. Walters said that his niece Jennifer Beckman stole his valuable coin collection in 2013 and then sold it to the gold and silver pawn shop. Walters said that the haul Beckman brought to gold and silver netted a total of $2,375, but the agreed uncle said that his collection was worth much more than that, approximately $50,000. As soon as Walters realized the coins were missing, he reported his niece to the police, but by the time the police called Gold and Silver Pawn, the coins were already gone. The store representative told Fox News that the coins may have been melted down, sold, or are in buckets with other coins waiting to be valued. The representative also disagreed with Walters' $50,000 valuation claim, saying that the coins were worth much less than the man thought they were worth. She also insisted that none of the Pawn Stars cast had done anything illegal or wrong by buying the coins. Despite all of these scandals and controversies, the show managed to stay on the air. The show ran for more than 10 years and had a strong fan base even as it moved towards scripted content and family drama. However, by the 21st season, the show's early magic had worn off, and viewers had dropped significantly. With more legal problems, family problems, and scandals involving its stars, Pawn Stars started to lose its authenticity. Rick, being a smart businessman, focused his efforts elsewhere, including in real estate and other ventures Pawn Plaza may have. Even though it wasn't a huge hit, Rick's business sense kept the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop a mainstay in Las Vegas. As for Pawn Stars, there has been no official word about its cancellation, but the show has become a shadow of its former self. Its stars have had personal and professional problems, and the History Channel hasn't been as busy with it as it used to be. Whether the show will come back or not is still unknown, but one thing is for sure. Pawn Stars has left an impression. What about its legacy? Its legacy was tainted by scandal, but it is still iconic. Pawn Stars had a unique effect on reality TV, turning what was once a niche pawn shop into a globally recognized name. From its humble beginnings as a family-run business to the multi-million-dollar doll franchise it became, Pawn Stars helped viewers learn about history, antiques, and the art of dealing. The show's success highlighted the charm of everyday Americans in a setting full of strange things, where every deal had a story behind it. But even though Pawn Stars built a legacy, its downfall shows the bad sides of fame and how much it costs to keep up a public persona. The scandals involving the show's stars, the legal battles, and the appraisal scandals all slowly tainted the show's once untouchable image. Even though it may never be as popular as it was, Pawn Stars will be remembered as one of the most influential and popular reality TV shows of all time. It showed the real problems that come with running a family business in Las Vegas, which is always changing. It also gave viewers a look into the world of pawn shops and a look into the personal problems of its stars. It is a complicated and multifaceted part of television history, and even though its future is uncertain, its impact on pop culture will last for years to come.